Hello and welcome to In the Court of the Wenton King. We are doing an album by Can. What's the album called?
Tago Mago.
Tago Mago, that's how we're going to pronounce it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I always think Tago Mago, but it's actually Tago Mago, isn't it? It's actually a double album, which is interesting. We haven't done many double albums. I don't think it's a particularly long double album. We've done The Lamb, we've done Physical Graffiti, we've done Tales from Topographic Oceans. I can't think of any others. Review doubles?
No, I think that's it, isn't it?
Yeah, we're too lazy. That's what it is. It's hard work to review a double epic. This is their third album, sort of. One of them is an album of things they've done for soundtracks or something. See, although it's a double, it's not like a massive epic thing, which is why it's easy to review, because it's lots of jams and stuff like that, and that's why it's long. Although some of it is edits of them being secretly recorded. So unlike, if you tell a musician, right, we need an idea now, give us an idea, they might just come out with just enough that you need, maybe, or not, or they'll have nothing, or they'll have mountains of crap. It'll be one or the other. They won't be able to do anything else. But if you don't ask for it, or don't tell them, they'll just come out with hours and hours of cool stuff. That's just the way musicians work, isn't it? And I think that's the idea. So consequently, they've got a double album's worth of stuff. It's cool grooves, it's avant-garde, proper avant-garde stuff, extreme avant-garde stuff. I like the way it's rough around the edges. When I say jam, it is like a jam. This isn't practiced, maybe is the right expression. This is loose, natural sounding stuff. But it's really accessible, which is interesting. Given how esoteric, it gets very esoteric. Think of the extreme end of Radiohead meets Bitches Brew. You could talk a lot about what it's influenced. It's influenced a very broad range of stuff, and it's good. It's not an epic. It's just two albums really, and you've got two parts, which is kind of cool. You've got the one which is a bit more jamming, particularly the first track is more accessible, and then you've got the second disc, which is the full-on avant-garde stuff. And there's a bit of in between.
Right, thanks. See you next week.
See you next week.
What can I say? You used the word that we haven't used there in quite a while, Kev. In fact, I had to write it down. Accessible.
Oh yeah, we don't do that. No,
it's like a benchmark I used to put onto albums. How accessible is it? It's a bit impenetrable. Which suggests that there's a... Canon's got a reputation of being impenetrable. I don't know if that's true or not, actually.
I think it's really accessible.
I think it's pretty accessible.
Given how far it goes.
Okay, put it this way. I think it's accessible in the way that Apocalypse Now is accessible. in the sense that it starts off relatively normal. There are very familiar tones and stuff when it starts off. Yeah. It sounds like a rock album.
Yeah.
Because this has got a reputation as one of the most creative albums. And you think, well, what's so great about this? And then by the end you're like, oh my god. Yeah,
it takes you on a journey. It's a journey album, isn't it?
You're right. I heard Radiohead in there. I think it was on the track Oh Yeah. I sort of started thinking modern Radiohead actually, rather than sort of classic Radiohead, which I thought was interesting. Yeah. And then by the time we got to, I presume Halleluhwah is the end of the first album.
Yeah, and Aumgn, which is actually the vocals. That's actually the title they sing. Yeah,
and I thought Aumgn sort of took a turn for Nurse with Wound there.
Yeah, it's that extreme.
It's really dark, it's ambient soundscapes, but it's dark ambient sound. It makes you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But what I love about that kind of music is it's sort of interesting because it's interesting. It sort of sucks at you in, it piques your curiosity. It's sort of like, what's going on there? Whereas something like, it's not Brian Eno, which is very sort of washy and sort of makes you feel kind of cool. This makes you think, ooh, what's going on there? That second album is definitely a sort of a turn towards the more, I wouldn't say esoteric, but avant-garde. Yeah, avant-garde is the right word. It's sort of like dispensing with the rules, and it leaves you with that sense as you do with Nursery Rhyme. Like, how the hell do you go about writing something like that? Obviously, if it's a jam, and I haven't written it, I've just sort of.
I didn't even know they were doing it.
Yeah.
You mentioned the thing I like about that, and made me think of Nursery Rhyme, is the use of loops. It's like a drum loop. Obviously, it's been done with tape or whatever, and it's scary and wrong. And it's funny how in some ways, stylistically, it's so near to something really bland, which we recognise now as dance music, but it isn't like that. It's still what it always was, and it's frightening, you know.
And by the end, when it's doing the drummy stuff, oh man, I'd really like to see King Crimson with the 3 drummers perform something like that. It'd be really exciting.
Yeah, well, actually, the thing they didn't do, of course, the current Crimson, is proper actual improvisations, which would be amazing. Perhaps logistically difficult with 7 of them and 3 drummers, but potentially, you know. I think, you know, with the double trio, it became just a load of noise, which is great, but it didn't have the whatever earlier bands had.
I think the interesting thing about this being a jam, you know, jams, you know, it comes from that sort of like jazz background where, you know, you have a bunch of musicians that kind of understand the structure of music and sort of hang the notes on that.
Yeah.
Whereas this isn't that at all. Yet they pull something cohesive out of it, which is really quite amazing, actually.
Yeah. They had mojo.
Yeah.
It's German prog once again. We did Tangerine Dream a while ago with some really quite boring reviews. We did Krautrock. Is that a dodgy word? Dodgy moniker? I don't know. Kraut isn't very nice, obviously. The title Krautrock comes from a Faust song actually called Krautrock, and they were sort of a bit baffled that UK journalists were using it to describe all these bands who didn't know about each other. But it is a UK term actually, and some of the musicians understandably don't like it. But I mean, Kraut, it's like calling us limeys or something. It's that kind of thing. Yeah. So nothing like Tangerine Dream, and it's one of those. It's all prog, isn't it? In that all the bands are different. They're both called Krautrock, but they're not really alike at all. There's obviously some sort of thread, but as a listening experience, it's a very different experience. And, you know, Tangerine Dream is goes towards the ambient and all that stuff, doesn't it? And this doesn't do that at all. This is the scary stuff. And really, actually, I think it was down to John Peel. Suddenly decided he liked German rock music and played all these bands on his radio show, so that everyone started buying them in this country, and that's how it happened, really. But it's great that it's there. It's, you know, we don't just have British prog and then everything that was influenced by British prog, and that's what prog is, because that doesn't tell the proper story at all. Prog was a European thing. You know, French prog is amazing and ridiculous, and German prog is really cool, and Italian prog is different again. You know.
It's a bit like Baroque music, French Baroque, English Baroque, and German Baroque.
Yeah, they're all different, aren't they? The title, Tago Mago, it's a thing to do with Aleister Crowley, I think. It's actually just an island, and it's called that island of Tago Mago. But the reason they picked it, because it was associated with him, he went there to do awful things. Do you know about the stuff about the singer?
Is this the guy that was homeless?
Yeah. I don't know how much. There's a bit of a mythical thing about they just went out of the studio and thought, oh, this guy, do you want to come and sing? Okay, come on. I think years ago I kind of read something like that, and maybe I'd embellished it myself, or I'm not sure. And so the reality is that there was a guy busking, and they invited him to the studio the next day, and he shouted some stuff, and it gives it that very natural, non-muso sound to it, because he's just shouting stuff, and he improvises. It's improvised, and he improvises in no particular language.
Yeah, that's interesting. That is.
Yeah, Damon Suzuki, and he's on the previous album as well. Actually, so the original singer was only on the first album, the first 1.5 albums, I think. So there you go. Yeah. So yeah, it's a really good album. It's very long, and that's the thing. So you know, generally people will buy that as their first Can album, and they're buying a double album as their first album. So there is a lot to listen to, but obviously because of its nature, you can have it on and dip into it, and then you do something, and then you dip into it, you know, and that's fine, you know. I certainly think you can listen to it as 2 albums, actually. You can listen to track 1 to 4 as an album, and it works as an album. You can listen to tracks 5, 6 and 7 as an album.
Yeah.
I think that was the intention. I think it was 2 albums. They put it out as a double.
Mm-hmm.
Quite difficult to egg.
It is after 1 week, because there's a lot there, isn't there?
Yeah. I think it's 5 eggs.
Yeah.
It is a 5-egg album. I mean, I've had it for many years, but I've never thought about how many eggs it deserves, obviously. And it is a special album, and it's one of the, of the albums that I own, it's one I would pick. This is good, listen to this. So that's a 5, isn't it? Yeah, 5 eggs for Tago Mago.
Yeah, I agree.
Hopefully that was a good review, we're not sure. See you next week for Edge Bamasi, I think, is that what it's called? That's the one I don't know very well. Ego Bamasi or something. EGE something.
Egypt.
See you next week.